This is what we're restoring in this episode, a classic. 1975 Tonka Mighty Loader. Of course, it goes by many different names. Some places might call it a dump truck or a front loader. What do you call it where you're from? The person taking this apart in the video right now is the restoration master, Master Luge. We'll be following his steps to see how this 51-year-old classic toy gets a new lease on life compared to modern plastic that use tons of screws and clips. These vintage Tonka construction models have a much more hardcore build. The body is mostly made of stamped steel. Plus, many joints don't use screws, but rather rivets, push nuts, and metal pins. The biggest perk of this is durability. Even after half a century, these fasteners are still Loctite. But everything has two sides. The sturdier they were, the harder to remove. Some of these fasteners, after decades of rusting, have fused with the body parts. Taking them off perfectly intact is almost impossible. Notice that when needed, Luge also resorts to some destructive removal methods. Of course, this destruction is only aimed at the rivets and push nuts. That will be replaced anyway. As for the truly valuable main body parts, they won't be affected at all. Besides, even if Luge's hand slipped and he accidentally scratched it, it wouldn't be a big deal for this toy. After all, these toys are famous for their absurd level of durability. Speaking of which, I remember back in the 1970s, they shot a really famous commercial. They actually got an elephant to step on their toy truck. The result was that it handled the weight without even a slight bend. Isn't this kind of demo way better than those ads, where they just leave cars out in the rain? Alright, Luge has finished the entire teardown process. Next, he'll use sandblasting to strip the paint off these main parts and remove the rust. The abrasive material used here is steel grit. Did you guess it right? After a thorough blasting, beneath this nice bare steel look, we can see that aside from minor bending, there's still a lot of pitting left behind by the rust. Since the deformation isn't too bad, it's relatively easy to fix. A few hammer taps will do. As for the pitted and uneven areas, body filler will be used to smooth them out. And the red paste just squeezed into the filler is the hardener. Without it, the filler won't be able to chemically cure and harden. Once the filler is dry and sanded down, Luge will apply the matching black and iconic yellow powder coating to the parts. During the powder coating process, the electrostatic spray gun gives the powder a charge. This way, they will evenly stick to the grounded metal surface. After the powder is evenly applied, it needs to be cured at high heat. Will the hanging points miss out on the coating? The answer is yes. So hanging points are usually chosen in hidden areas, or they'll be touched up with paint later. After the paint job is done, Luge will first reassemble the loader bucket using blind rivets. This part is also the most distinct feature of the loader. With this bucket, workers could quickly load sand, gravel, coal, dirt, and other loose materials onto trucks. And this loading process requires the bucket to perform both lifting and dumping actions. For this, Tonka designed 2 lever handles for the model's bucket to accomplish these specific motions. So how exactly does it work? We'll see in the demo clip at the end. The next step is to work on these 4 wheels. As you can see, they don't have any structural damage. A simple refurbish will make them good to go. After washing them, Luge uses a heat gun on these rubber tires. This helps melt back that oxidized whitish-gray surface layer, restoring the rubber. Finally, with a bit of this tire dressing, these tires will look as good as new. As for the logo and line marks on the sidewalls, just spray some white paint on a piece of cardboard. Flip the tire over and press it down to stamp the paint right on. The final result is super crisp. Then install the hubcaps in the center. And the wheels are officially done. Aside from a few axle parts, the most noticeable thing here is this bracket. This is the handle bracket we mentioned earlier, specifically used for lifting the bucket. For these parts, Luge uses a bench grinder with different wheels to remove the rust one by one and polish both sides. For the final protective finish, he uses the very familiar nickel plating, which adds hardness, wear resistance, shine, and great protection to the parts. Once the plating is done, he uses a metal pin to assemble the rest of the pieces. With this pin in place, the handle that controls the bucket dumping action is complete. Next up are the plastic trim pieces. The black ones just need a simple cleaning. But this yellowed windshield needs a special retrobrighting treatment. He uses 3% hydrogen peroxide with some oxidizing cleaning beads, plus long-term UV light exposure. The catch is the peroxide concentration is pretty low, only at 3%, unlike the 9% we normally use. So as we can see from the result, the yellowing wasn't fully removed. Luge then turns to sanding and polishing to finish treating the windshield. Even though the result isn't perfect, we are experienced reading comprehension experts. And we all know, this is just to convey the creator's nostalgia. Once all the parts are processed, it's time for the final assembly. From the glossy look of these black plastic parts, we can guess that after cleaning, they were sprayed with a plastic restorer. Also, as mentioned at the beginning, The most obvious feature of this loader is the massive bucket at the front. Beyond that, it has another signature trait, which is its 4 wildly oversized wheels. Because of these 2 features, a front bucket and a wheeled chassis, this type of construction equipment has an official name, a wheeled front-end loader. Compared to the tracked machinery we often see, the biggest advantage of a wheel loader is speed. Since it uses rubber tires, it can move quickly just like a car. In reality, many large loaders can travel at speeds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. So on big construction sites, mines, and ports, loaders are often among the most frequently used machines. Of course, while tires offer mobility, they also bring its biggest weakness: off-road capability. Tracked machines, although slower, use massive tracks to distribute the vehicle's weight over a larger area, giving them much better off-road performance. Now we just slap the decals on, and this once rusty 1975 Tonka Mighty Loader model is officially fully restored. Let's follow the camera to check out the before and after comparison. That's it for this restoration video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the vlog, please leave a like and subscribe. Bye-bye. Once again, thanks for visiting Max's Restoration channel. Bye-bye.